Over 60? Stop drinking black coffee. Do this for strength. If you're over 60 and still drinking plain black coffee, you're missing a massive opportunity to support your muscle, health, and strength. In the next minutes, I'll show you exactly what to add to your morning coffee that research suggests can help maintain the muscle function you need to stay independent, active, and confident as you age. This isn't about complicated supplements or expensive treatments. This is about 3 simple, science-backed additions that could transform your daily routine. As a wellness researcher who's spent the last 4 years studying muscle health in older adults, I've discovered something remarkable. Your morning coffee can become one of your most powerful tools for supporting muscle function, but only if you know what to add and why it works. Most people over 60 are drinking their coffee the same way they did in their 30s, completely unaware that their muscle needs have changed dramatically. Here's what shocked me when I first saw this research. 3 specific ingredients, when added to coffee, can work synergistically to support muscle protein synthesis, improve muscle recovery, and help maintain the strength you need for daily activities. One targets muscle building directly, another supports the infrastructure your muscles need to thrive, the third provides the energy substrate that keeps everything working optimally. We have a few minutes together, and by the end, you'll know exactly which addition is right for your goals, how much to use, and when to use it for maximum benefit. I'll also share real experiences from people in their 70s who made these simple changes and noticed meaningful differences in how they feel and function. But before we dive in, do something for me right now. Tell me in the comments what city and country you're watching from, and whether you've noticed any changes in your strength or energy levels in recent years. Plus, I've put together a complete guide to science-based coffee additions for seniors, including where to source quality ingredients and detailed preparation instructions. You'll find the link in the first comment. I'm going to share 3 research-backed coffee additions with you today, each targeting a different pathway for muscle support. The first one surprised researchers when they saw how effectively it worked in people over 65. The second addresses something that 80% of seniors are unknowingly deficient in. And the third has been used by athletes for decades, but new research shows it might be even more important for older adults than younger ones. Let's start with understanding why your muscle needs change after 60, and this is crucial for everything that follows. Your muscles don't just get weaker with age, they become less responsive to the signals that tell them to grow and repair themselves. It's like the communication system between your brain and your muscles starts speaking in whispers instead of clear commands. This process, called anabolic resistance, means that the same protein and nutrients that easily built muscle when you were younger now need extra help to do their job effectively. Think of it like trying to start an older car on a cold morning. The engine still works, but it needs a little extra boost to get going. Here's where your morning coffee routine becomes a game changer. Instead of just providing caffeine for energy, your coffee can become a delivery system for compounds that help overcome this anabolic resistance and support your body's natural muscle maintenance processes. The research shows that when specific amino acids, proteins, and energy substrates are consumed together, they can restore muscle protein synthesis to levels much closer to what younger adults experience. This isn't about turning back the clock completely, but about giving your muscles the extra support they need to function optimally at your current age. Now I'm going to reveal the 3 science-backed additions that can transform your morning coffee from a simple energy drink into a muscle-supporting powerhouse. Each one works through a different mechanism, and choosing the right one depends on your primary goals and current situation. The first addition is collagen peptides, and here's why this might be exactly what you need. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body, making up about 30% of all your body's protein. It's the structural foundation that holds your muscles, tendons, and ligaments together. After age 60, your body's natural collagen production decreases significantly, which affects not just your skin, but the entire support system that keeps your muscles functioning properly. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition followed adults over 65 who added 15 grams of collagen peptides to their daily routine for 12 weeks. The results were remarkable. Participants showed significant improvements in muscle mass, strength, and physical performance compared to those who didn't supplement with collagen. Here's exactly why collagen works so well in coffee. The heat from the coffee helps the collagen peptides dissolve completely, and the amino acid profile of collagen provides specific building blocks that your muscles need for repair and maintenance. Unlike regular protein powders, collagen peptides are predigested, meaning they're absorbed quickly and efficiently. If your primary concerns are general mobility, joint comfort, and maintaining your ability to do daily activities without stiffness or discomfort, collagen is likely your best choice. The research suggests that 10 to 15 grams daily, consumed consistently over 8 to 12 weeks, can provide meaningful benefits. Here's exactly how to use collagen in your coffee. Add 1 to 2 scoops of unflavored collagen peptides to your hot coffee and stir thoroughly until completely dissolved. The collagen is virtually tasteless, so it won't change the flavor of your coffee. For best results, have this within an hour of waking when your body's repair processes are most active. Helen, who's 74, started adding collagen to her morning coffee after struggling with morning stiffness that made getting out of bed difficult. After 10 weeks, she told me that her mornings felt completely different. The stiffness that used to last for hours now resolved within minutes, and she felt more confident moving around her house and garden. This collagen approach supports your muscle infrastructure, but the second edition works through a completely different pathway that directly triggers muscle building, and it's based on research that won a Nobel Prize. Take a moment right now and think about the last time you felt really strong and capable. Can you remember that feeling of confidence in your body? The next edition I'm about to share is specifically designed to help restore that feeling by targeting the molecular switch that controls muscle growth. It's been a few minutes, and you now understand why collagen can be transformative for overall muscle support. But if your primary goal is building and maintaining muscle mass itself, the next edition targets that directly. The second edition is leucine, and this amino acid has been called the master regulator of muscle protein synthesis. Here's the fascinating science behind why leucine is so powerful for people over 60. Your muscles contain a cellular pathway called mTOR, which acts like a master switch for muscle building. When mTOR is activated, it signals your muscles to start building new protein and repairing damaged tissue. The problem is that after age 60, this mTOR pathway becomes less sensitive to normal dietary signals. You can eat adequate protein, but your muscles don't get the message to start building as effectively as they used to. Leucine acts like a megaphone for this signal, making sure your muscles hear the command to grow and repair loud and clear. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that older adults who consumed 5 to 3 grams of leucine with their morning protein showed muscle protein synthesis rates comparable to adults decades younger. This isn't just maintaining what you have. This is actively supporting the building of new muscle tissue. The key is timing and combination. Leucine works best when combined with other high-quality proteins and consumed when your body's natural protein synthesis is highest, which is in the morning hours after your overnight fast. Here's your practical leucine protocol. Add 5 to 3 grams of leucine powder to your coffee, along with 20 to 25 grams of high-quality protein powder, either whey or a complete plant-based blend. The leucine triggers the muscle-building signal, while the additional protein provides the raw materials your muscles need to respond to that signal. This combination is particularly effective if you're doing any form of resistance exercise, even light bodyweight movements like standing up from a chair or climbing stairs. The leucine-protein combination primes your muscles to respond more effectively to the physical stimulus of movement. David, who's 69, had been frustrated with feeling weaker despite trying to stay active with daily walks. When he added leucine and protein to his morning coffee and started doing simple strength exercises twice a week, he noticed within 6 weeks that activities like carrying groceries and working in his workshop felt significantly easier. If your goal is maintaining or building muscle mass, improving strength for daily activities, and feeling more capable physically, the leucine-protein combination is your most direct path. The research suggests consistent use for 8 to 12 weeks to see meaningful changes. This leucine approach directly commands muscle growth, but the third edition provides the energy substrate that powers muscle function. And new research suggests it might be even more important for older adults than previously thought. Here's what terrifies me about waiting. Every month after 60, you lose 1 to 2% of muscle mass. That's permanent loss that becomes harder to recover with each passing season. Count on your fingers how many times in the past week you felt like you had the energy to do something physical, but just didn't feel like you had the power or stamina to sustain it. Comment that number below, because this next edition specifically addresses that issue. We're approaching the halfway point, and the third edition targets something that many people over 60 struggle with but don't realize has a solution. The third edition is creatine monohydrate, and before you think this is just for young athletes, let me share what recent research reveals about creatine and aging. Creatine is your muscle's immediate energy source for quick, powerful movements. Every time you stand up from a chair, climb a step, or lift something, your muscles use creatine for that burst of power. The problem is that creatine levels in your muscles naturally decline with age, sometimes by as much as 20 to 30% by your 70s. This means that activities that used to feel easy now require more effort, and you fatigue more quickly during physical tasks. Multiple studies have now shown that creatine supplementation in older adults can restore muscle creatine levels, improve power output, and significantly enhance the ability to perform daily activities. A landmark study published in the Journal of Sports Medicine and Physical Fitness found that adults over 65 who supplemented with creatine for 12 weeks showed dramatic improvements in their ability to perform repeated movements and sustained physical tasks. Here's what makes creatine particularly interesting when added to coffee. The caffeine in coffee can enhance creatine uptake into your muscles, making the supplementation more effective. Additionally, the combination provides both immediate energy from caffeine and sustained power from creatine, creating a synergistic effect for physical performance. If your primary concerns are having enough energy for physical activities, not feeling exhausted after simple tasks, and maintaining the power you need for activities like climbing stairs or lifting objects, creatine is your ideal addition. Here's exactly how to use creatine in your coffee. Add 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate powder to your coffee and stir thoroughly. Creatine can be slightly gritty, so you might need to stir more vigorously or use a small whisk. The taste is virtually neutral, so it won't affect your coffee's flavor. Start with 3 grams daily for the first week to assess your tolerance, then increase to 5 grams if you feel comfortable. Some people experience mild digestive upset when starting creatine, but this usually resolves within a few days as your body adapts. Margaret, who's 71, had been avoiding activities like gardening and housework because they left her feeling completely exhausted. After 8 weeks of adding creatine to her morning coffee and maintaining her walking routine, she reported having energy reserves that lasted throughout the day and feeling capable of doing activities she had been avoiding. The research suggests that creatine benefits become apparent within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent use, with maximum benefits typically seen by 8 to 12 weeks. This timeline makes it one of the faster-acting additions for noticeable improvements in energy and power. Now comes the important question. How do you choose which of these 3 additions is right for you, and is there a smart way to combine them for even better results? Try this simple self-assessment with me. When you think about your current physical concerns, what bothers you most? Overall stiffness and mobility, actual muscle weakness, or running out of energy during activities? Your answer points you toward the right addition to start with. We're at minute 7, and now I'm going to give you the decision framework that takes all the guesswork out of choosing your approach. Here's how to choose your optimal coffee addition based on your primary goals and current situation. If you're dealing mainly with morning stiffness, joint discomfort, or general mobility concerns, and you want an addition that supports overall muscle and connective tissue health, collagen peptides are your best starting point. The research shows collagen works well for people who want to maintain their current activity levels and feel more comfortable during daily movements. If your main concern is feeling physically weaker than you used to, struggling with activities that require strength like lifting, carrying, or pushing, and you want to actually build or maintain muscle mass, leucine combined with protein is your most direct approach. This is particularly effective if you're willing to incorporate some basic strength activities into your routine. If your primary issue is running out of energy during physical activities, feeling exhausted after simple tasks, or lacking the power for things like climbing stairs or getting up from low chairs, creatine is likely your most beneficial addition. This works especially well for people who are active but find that their endurance and power aren't what they used to be. Now, here's the strategic approach that many people find most effective. Start with one addition for 4 to 6 weeks to establish the habit and assess your individual response. Once that's comfortable and you're seeing benefits, you can consider adding a second complement if you have multiple goals. The most common successful combination is collagen plus creatine for people who want both mobility support and energy enhancement. The second most effective combination is leucine protein plus creatine for those focused on strength and power. Collagen plus leucine protein can work well, but requires careful attention to total protein intake to avoid overdoing it. However, I strongly recommend starting with just one addition. This allows you to clearly identify what's working for you and prevents the confusion that can come from changing too many variables at once. Remember, consistency with one effective approach beats inconsistency with multiple approaches. Let me share 3 real experiences from people who chose different paths and what their results looked like over 12 weeks of consistent use. Look around your kitchen right now. Do you have a coffee maker, a measuring spoon, and space to store one additional ingredient? If so, you have everything you need to start supporting your muscle health tomorrow morning. Comment what you found, because preparation is key to success. These real stories will help you understand what realistic expectations look like and how long it typically takes to notice meaningful changes. Robert, who's 68, chose the leucine protein path because his main concern was feeling weaker when doing yard work and household projects. He added 3 grams of leucine and 25 grams of whey protein to his morning coffee and committed to doing basic bodyweight exercises 3 times per week for 10 minutes. Week 1-2, he noticed the coffee kept him satisfied longer and gave him steady energy, but no major physical changes yet. Week 3-4, tasks like moving furniture and lifting bags started feeling slightly easier. Week 6-8, significant improvement in his confidence with physical tasks and less fatigue after activities. Week 10-12, he reported feeling stronger than he had in several years and was taking on projects he'd been avoiding. The key insight from Robert's experience is that the leucine protein approach works best when combined with some form of resistance activity, even very basic movements. Susan, who's 73, chose collagen because her primary complaints were morning stiffness and joint discomfort that affected her daily walks and household activities. She added 15 grams of collagen peptides to her coffee every morning and maintained her regular walking routine. Week 1-3, no dramatic changes, but she noticed her coffee tasted fine and the routine was easy to maintain. Week 4-6, morning stiffness began resolving more quickly, and her evening joint discomfort was less noticeable. Week 8-10, significant improvement in her comfort during and after walking, with less need for rest breaks. Week 12+, she reported feeling like her body was cooperating with her again and was planning longer walking routes. Susan's experience highlights that collagen benefits are gradual but can be profound for overall comfort and mobility. Patricia, who's 70, chose creatine because her main issue was running out of energy during activities she enjoyed, like dancing and playing with grandchildren. She added 5 grams of creatine to her morning coffee and continued her twice-weekly dance classes. Week 1-2, she noticed more sustained energy during her morning activities, but wasn't sure if it was the creatine or placebo effect. Week 3-4, clear improvement in her stamina during dance classes and less fatigue when playing actively with grandchildren. In weeks 6-8, dramatic improvement in her energy reserves throughout the day and confidence in taking on more demanding activities. Week 10-12, she reported feeling like she had gotten her energy back and was planning a hiking trip she'd been avoiding. Patricia's experience shows that creatine can be particularly effective for people who want to maintain or increase their activity levels. All 3 experienced gradual, sustainable improvements rather than dramatic overnight changes. This is exactly what you should expect from evidence-based approaches to muscle health support. Now I want to address the practical aspects of implementing these additions safely and effectively, including some important considerations that will help ensure your success. We're at minute 9, and it's time to talk about making this sustainable and safe for your individual situation. Here are the essential practical and safety considerations that will help you succeed with whichever approach you choose. First, quality matters significantly with these supplements. For collagen, look for grass-fed, hydrolyzed collagen peptides from reputable manufacturers. The powder should dissolve completely in hot liquid without clumping or leaving residue. For leucine, choose a pharmaceutical-grade L-leucine powder that's at least 99% pure. It should be virtually tasteless and dissolve readily. For creatine, stick with creatine monohydrate, which has the most research support. Avoid fancy forms of creatine that promise better absorption. The basic monohydrate form is proven and effective. Start with lower doses initially to assess your tolerance. Some people experience mild digestive upset when beginning these supplements, particularly creatine. This usually resolves within a few days as your body adapts, but starting slowly can minimize any discomfort. Timing optimization can enhance your results. All 3 additions work best when consumed in the morning, ideally within an hour of waking, when your body's anabolic processes are most responsive. If you exercise, having your supplemented coffee 30 to 60 minutes before activity can enhance the benefits. Stay well hydrated, especially with creatine, which draws water into your muscles. An additional 8 to 16 ounces of water daily is recommended when using creatine. This isn't a side effect to worry about. It's part of how creatine works to improve muscle function. Most importantly, discuss these additions with your healthcare provider, especially if you take medications or have health conditions. Creatine can interact with certain medications, and leucine can affect blood sugar levels. Your doctor can advise whether these additions are appropriate for your specific situation. Be patient with the process. While some people notice energy improvements within the first week or 2, the full benefits of these approaches typically develop over 8 to 12 weeks of consistent use. Keep a simple journal of how you feel and what you're able to do. As improvements are often gradual and easy to overlook day to day, remember that these additions work best as part of an overall healthy lifestyle that includes appropriate physical activity, adequate sleep, and good nutrition. They enhance and support your body's natural processes, but they can't replace the fundamental importance of staying active and taking care of your overall health. Finally, individual responses vary significantly. What works remarkably well for one person might be less dramatic for another. This doesn't mean the approach isn't working. It means your body might need more time, or a different approach might be better suited to your particular situation. In these few minutes, you've learned exactly why plain black coffee isn't optimizing your muscle health potential after 60. And you now have 3 science-backed strategies to transform your morning routine into a muscle-supporting ritual. You've discovered that collagen peptides can support the structural foundation your muscles need to function comfortably, that leucine can directly trigger the muscle-building processes that become sluggish with age, and that creatine can restore the energy reserves that power your daily activities. Most importantly, you now have a clear decision framework for choosing the approach that matches your primary goals, realistic expectations for timeline and results, and practical guidance for implementing whichever strategy appeals to you most. The choice between collagen, leucine protein, or creatine isn't about finding the one perfect solution. It's about understanding which pathway addresses your most pressing concerns and starting there with consistency and patience. Remember, the goal isn't to become a bodybuilder at 70. It's to maintain and support the muscle function that keeps you independent, confident, and able to enjoy the activities that matter to you. Small, science-backed changes practiced consistently over time can create meaningful improvements in how you feel and what you're capable of doing. Which of these 3 approaches interests you most right now? Share in the comments whether you're leaning toward collagen for mobility, leucine protein for strength, or creatine for energy and power. I read every comment and often provide personalized suggestions based on your specific situation and goals. If this research-based approach to supporting muscle health after 60 was helpful, consider subscribing for more evidence-based content designed specifically for people who want to age actively and maintain their independence. Your body has carried you through decades of life, and it deserves the best support science can provide. The information I've shared today is for educational purposes and should always be discussed with your healthcare provider before making changes to your routine. But when used appropriately, as part of a comprehensive approach to healthy aging, these simple coffee additions can be powerful tools for supporting the strength and vitality you want to maintain. Your journey to better muscle health starts tomorrow morning with your very next cup of coffee, and now you know exactly how to make that coffee work harder for your strength, energy, and independence. Remember, if you want, I will make available our complete guide for seniors on supplements and health products that can change your quality of life. Link in the first comment with a limited time offer.